Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to talk about how much hunters suck with Prismatic. And that's a hot take, but let me explain. I feel like warlocks and titans are much more competent within any prismatic build that you build. With the hunter, you either have to have a very specific build, which is what we're going to talk about today, or a build that is powered by something else, like a weapon of some kind. But I tried so hard to find things, but I couldn't. So I just went with the good old combination blow, constant healing, constant invisibility. You know, it's just the best thing about the hunter. I'm actually going with silence and score, and I'll tell you why in a little bit. But I just think that the new super is pretty bad in my opinion. It might be decent in PvP, but for me in general, I just don't enjoy this super. And then also as well, talking about why hunters suck. The Hellfire Spike is the worst thing ever. The fact that you got screwed so hard on grenades is just horrific. You can stick this to enemies and it'll do some damage. Sometimes it'll kill them, but I found that it's just mostly useless. So very disappointed in all the abilities as well that are attached to the hunter. I haven't even unlocked them all because for me, the combination blow is all you need. So that's what we're going to talk about. First and foremost, aspects. Dodging slows nearby targets. Slowing targets briefly increases your class ability regeneration, which you don't have to worry about because you're getting it back straight away anyway. And also Stylus Executioner. Defeating a target affected by any elemental debuff grants invisibility and true sight. These are just going to work together naturally. When you're slowing enemies and killing them because they're slowed, you will be getting invisible straight away. Then after performing a stylish execution, your next melee attack while invisible weakens targets. So if you do manage to just end up hitting a big enemy that, you know, you mistakenly punched, at least you might weaken them. The combination blow is what this is all based around. A quick strike that temporarily increases your melee damage when defeating a target, and it stacks 3 times. Defeating targets with this ability also fully restores your class ability energy and restores a small amount of health. So you're getting healing and you're getting your dodge back. Your dodge will recharge your melee ability, your gambler's dodge. So every time you punch something in the face, you then dodge near an enemy and get your punch back. Then you punch someone in the face, dodge near an enemy. Punch someone in the face, dodge near an enemy. Punch someone in the face, dodge near an enemy. Basically, it keeps you healed fully all the time and makes you invisible so that enemies don't aggro onto you. You're practically invincible. But it's a boring loop in my opinion. Very boring class setup. But it's the only thing that for me feels really overpowered and worth using on the hunter. Let's talk about the fragments though. So your most important fragment will be the facet of bravery, and we need to ignore that top part and just go straight to defeating targets with powered melee final blows grants unraveling rounds to your strand weapons. Now we'll talk about weapons in a while, but unraveling rounds is just utterly broken. As soon as you punch someone and you get unraveling rounds, whoever you shoot, even if it's one bullet, will be stuck with unraveling rounds. So then no matter what, even if you wait a minute, well maybe not a minute, but if you wait like 10-15 seconds while you're punching some other things and then go back to shooting that target with your strand weapon, unraveling rounds will still be active on them. So definitely worth having, and unraveling rounds does a lot of damage. Powered melee hits against targets makes you radiant. So radiant also allows you to hit barrier champions and break them, and you know, you get increased damage in weapons anyway. So even if you do happen to want to use a weapon at some point during this build, you get a bit of extra damage. Then we have the facet of generosity. Defeating targets while transcendent creates orbs of power for your allies. Honestly, I couldn't find a good 5th one. I haven't got everything unlocked, but for the most part, you don't need this. You don't need a 5th one here, and we'll talk about that and the other 2. But I just went for this because, you know, if you're going to go around and melee things and get orbs of power and stuff like that, you might as well create it for your teammates as well. Just pop transcendent whenever you can and do it, but you can place anything here that you wish to. Next up, we have picking up an orb of power grants any of those buffs, which for us is frost armor. You're fortified by layers of durable stasis matter, reducing incoming damage. If you're going to be in punching things and you know you might get overwhelmed, this is going to protect you because you're going to be slowing people, you're going to be punching them, getting your frost armor, getting your radiance, getting your melee and health back and going invisible. It's just dumb. It's silly. And then just add a bit more resistance. We have facet of protection. While surrounded by combatants, you're more resistant to incoming damage. Again, just an extra bit of defense while you're stuck in there punching people in the face. Now for the weapons, the call. Now I've got beacon rounds on this because I'm lazy and I don't like to aim, but there are other roles which I might talk about in another video. I think the stats for all one is pretty good, but I am going to be changing this soon. However, The Call, incredibly powerful sidearm with Warper weapon on it, just on its own without the other perk. You're going to be hitting people, doing a lot of damage to them. So if you need to just shoot people, this is the gun you need to use. I go with just a Recluse with destabilizing rounds and repulsor brace. You can use anything here, to be honest. If you want to knock on the Still Hunt, you know, just to take down some enemies and stuff. If you want an Indebted Kindness or a Forbearance or a sword, totally up to you what you use here. I just use the Recluse because I'm barely shooting anyway, and usually I'm close up, and the Recluse is pretty good close up. Then I have my Strand machine gun, and this is where my unraveling rounds comes in. I use Envious Assassin and Bait and Switch. I'm punching a load of people, so Envious Assassin is going to have a huge clip. I just always forget, and I genuinely always forget to use Bait and Switch, which obviously increases the damage. So if you want a good Strand LMG, this is the one, in my opinion. Now for the stats. Resilience, obviously the highest it can be. Recovery is a good one to have too, but I mean, you're going to be getting all your health back while you're dodging and stuff anyway. But in that downtime when you can't really dodge near enemies, recovery might be good to have. I just haven't got it on this armor set that I have. Mobility would probably also really be good. I just went for discipline so I can get my grenade back quicker, because you don't need strength because you're constantly getting your melee back anyway. So for me, I just went discipline. So recovery discipline is probably the best second perk to have, and then maybe mobility if that's what you like. Now let's talk about the mods. So on the helmet, I have special ammo finder. That's for my Call to get my special ammo. And then we have 2 hands-on, gain bonus super energy on melee kills. You're going to be punching everything. You might as well get a super out of it. Then the exotic we are using is the Liar's Handshake. Using your arc melee ability or being hit by a melee attack will allow you to follow up with an extremely powerful melee counterpunch that will heal you. If you're in the mix with people and you've got all that resistance and they hit you, you're going to hit them with a gigantic punch back and heal yourself too. So why not have this? And then we have heavy-handed. Your powered melee final blows create orbs of power twice. And then I just throw on causing damage with a powered melee, reduces your grenade cooldown. You could honestly have anything else here. You could have another one of the heavy-handeds. I just, you know, feel like I might as well just get a little bit of grenade back as well. On your chest, any resistances you want or need. Honestly, you don't really need the close-up one. Which one is it? This one. Because you've got so much resistance anyway. But if you wanted to, you could throw that on as well. On the legs, we have Innovation. Reduces grenade cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power. You're going to be punching a lot of things, creating orbs of power. You might as well get your grenade back while you do that. I also just have a Void Weapon Surge on. So as I'm picking up those orbs of light, if I do decide to pull out my Recluse and hit people, you know, it's just there. It's just there to do a bit more damage. You could have Strand Surge on, but honestly, the Call is so powerful on its own, and with unraveling rounds, you really don't need the Surge. And then for the class item, just fill it up with Bombers. Reduces grenade cooldown when using your ability. So basically, you're going to be punching, creating orbs, collecting those orbs, getting your grenade back, dodging, getting your grenade back. You're just constantly going to have grenades and all the abilities left for you. So I dislike this build. I really do. I think it's so unfun. And to go back to me talking about how hunters suck, I think you just got absolutely screwed in my opinion. The Hellfire Spike grenade in Transcendence just is bad in comparison to Titan and Warlock. And then for your abilities that you can pick, they've chosen the worst ones in my opinion. The punch, obviously, combination blow, nothing's going to top that whatsoever, so you're not going to take that off. The grenades, you have Arc Bolt Grenade, which generally suck. You have the Swarm Grenade, which are okay at best. You have the Magnetic Grenade, which nobody uses because it's just not good for AoE. There's no like Solar Grenade or the Void Grenade that is like a big circle, so you can just throw it in the middle of enemies and kill them all. The only other thing worth using, in my opinion, is Grapple. But I'm not a Grapple fan because I'm in there close, especially with this build. So I've had to go with the Dustfield Grenade. So I just feel like I'm just using stasis while punching things and getting my health back. It just feels like they just... It's like they designed Titan and Warlock first and then was just like, oh, we're so tired. We're so tired with this Hunter. Let's just throw these things on and not think about it. That's what it feels like to me. Now, I know hunters out there probably love their class and love this build, and that's great. I am so happy for you. But me playing as a hunter, I just feel like I'm bored out of my mind. With something like Titan, which I never play and never have played in the past, I've just kept it up to power level. I had so much fun with just the Transcendence Grenade. You have to place it with some form of skill, and it will just get everyone up in the air with Strand, and then chain arc to each other. It just feels good. And Warlock, I think, is the best for Transcendence in general. But all in all, I'm very disappointed in the Hunters builds. I feel like maybe someone will come up with something very special. But if you have to use like the Ergo Sum with the Stormcaller perk on it, just to have a viable build, or is it Stormbringer? It just feels like it's not worth it, in my opinion. I feel like I'm better off just playing Celestial Nighthawk Golden Gun and not worrying about Prismatic at all. But that's just my opinion. Let me know what you think down below in the comment section. This build is great. It does a lot for, you know, just taking enemies out and punching things. But it just completely removes the need to shoot things until you fight a boss. So let me know what you think down below. Thank you for watching. I've been easy. Now you guys have been awesome.